Hey guys, Tightrope here, bringing you a 1v1 today. We're on Twin Beaches. Hopefully spawning in the south, we've got JLODGE with the British forces. Opposing him is UncleClappy with Wehrmacht. Locking in to breakthrough as we see. In terms of rankings, JLODGE in the 20s and UncleClappy around 140. So a bit of a mismatch in this one. Curious to see how it goes down.
Time for a brew?
Pretty standard builds so far. No sandbags on the VP, missing. Should be going for it. See some sandbags up. JLODGE. I usually don't bother putting them here personally, but sure.
Tommy, standing by. Barbed wires down, as instructed.
Capping all across the map.
Positions ours. The sandbags are laid.
Second grenadier popping out now.
Eager to shift some dead weight. Time for a brew?
Wouldn't expect a dingo in this particular matchup. We'll see what JLODGE goes for next. Okay, another section. I think 2 engineers, 3 sections is the most common build I'm seeing at the moment for Brits.
String up this area, lads.
Get off to a pretty fast start with that, it seems. Maybe into like an early infantry training as well. Or maybe like a fast Humber.
It's captured.
Also a decent option. Oh, left the circle a little bit early. Good thing you noticed.
Infantry section trained and ready.
Back for it. Okay, first engagement. 2 minutes 20 into the game, so a bit of a slow start to this one, but I think that's kind of a little bit typical of Company of 3 at the moment. Capture rates can sometimes be a bit punishing, especially at the start of the match, you know, with your most factions not having capture rate bonus on their starting units, so US forces really the only exception.
They're looking for targets in the open.
So it can lead to a slow start.
Ah, Corporal's fucked. Don't get distracted. Concentrate.
Superior numbers there. This unit having the elevation bonus. Handy win there. Grenadiers trying to work their way around the corner. Could bring this engineer back around here to
A
assist.
new infantry section is ready for battle.
Not doing that yet.
Our supply line's broken.
Good
We have
decap there from
sectors
UncleClappy.
out there.
Hold up in this position. Jumps into cover, but I think maybe 2 or 3 models they're not really in cover.
Infantry
I
training
think that's a
is
good position for JLODGE. He's probably going to get chopped up. He maybe should have stayed behind this truck. Heavy cover truck. To take this fight. And that would have been a good range for this section as well. Typically better than the Grenadiers at long range. These closer quarters engagements, it's a much more even fight.
Infantry training completed.
And there we go. It is JLODGE going
Grenades are being distributed to the men.
for the infantry training. We heard that pop. Gives immediate grenades on the Royal Engineers. And I think I heard him ticking rifle grenades as well. So investing a lot into the infantry in these very early stages. UncleClappy, meanwhile, has picked up a machine gun now. So far, hasn't really seen any action yet, though. Probably one of the better answers to this at this stage. But, you know, once those sections, I imagine, probably going to get the recce package, getting that going can help nullify the MG42 positioning with the enhanced sight and the flares. Does make it a bit more challenging again. Panzer Grenadier Company coming up for UncleClappy, so not going for like a double machine gun build. And the MP40 Grenadiers should do well against these sections. Got a mine coming up from JLODGE. One thing you have to watch out for if you're playing as Brits, if you're going for the Humber, is the 8 route from the Wehrmacht mechanized. So far, I don't think we've seen any MP40s pop yet from UncleClappy. So he hasn't revealed what battle group he's gone for, but it's something you need to watch out for very closely. If you don't see any MP40s, you got to be on high alert for that 8 rad because it could come and completely ruin your day. You can see advancing all the way just about to the base sector here. Strong push from JLODGE. Getting the machine gun into play now, and it's got some big suppression going. Ultimately does force a bunch of retreats. Does have the medics up here early on, JLODGE. So would have been vulnerable to maybe like a 2-to-1 rush or something. Similar. They have only anti-tank grenades to counter it.
We should construct them in the field.
It's not a very common tactic. It's not a very good tactic. And the Grenadiers coming in now for Clappy.
The enemy has pushed us back from our sector.
He's locked into British Air and Sea Gun for supply surplus.
David, flamethrower duty. David,
Probably not going to make use of either of those first abilities anyway. But, you know, now this is the same cost as supply surplus, so
We've lost a sector to the enemy.
it's a fine choice. Maybe not so good in 1v1s though. Making use of the Grenadiers healing out in the corner. Did not go for the Vet 1 boost on the Grenadiers, which we very often see with breakthrough. Giving them the of combat healing early on can give you a bit of a boost. But he's gone for healing back at base, UncleClappy.
Victory point belongs to the enemy.
Let's see if he's going to switch, maybe do some trading out of these Grenadiers into P-Greens perhaps. So far, not really a big fan of the build of Clappy. Not really taking full advantage of his battle group. The way the build's going at the moment. Wonder if Luftwaffe might have been a better choice to get the manpower cost reduction. Getting a bit of elevation cooking here. Rifle nade coming in. Kind of ran into it and was slightly behind him. A pretty effective dodge on the Grenadiers grenade in return. Now, I'm not a huge fan of like early grenades in situations like that. Generally more of a weapon upgrade first, grenade later kind of guy. Merging in there, nice to see. Now an AT gun.
We're losing a munitions point to enemy action.
I think, you know, if you've got a 3 Fausting units, the Humber timing's, you know, maybe like around 6 minutes. So if you haven't seen a Humber by now, I don't think there's a big focus. I'm trying to go for an AT gun at this timing. You might have to worry about the Stuart, but the Faust should be able to keep the Stuart off you for long enough to build an AT gun reactively. So I think this is a misplay going for an AT gun at this timing. Should have invested more into maybe another squad infantry, another machine gun instead. And, you know, if you see the early vet pop on these squads of infantry, it's again another giveaway that have spent, you know, a good chunk of fuel on the infantry training, so probably not going to be seeing a Humber or a Stuart. Invest into the infantry instead. And you can see that JLODGE has picked up a 4th infantry section now.
Landmines laid and covered. They won't suspect a thing. Job for us. I'll do it now in a minute.
The Ricky package is still, I think, the most popular option. The Brent doesn't actually offer you that much more DPS.
The enemy has claimed the
Offers you a lot of utility as well, the Ricky package. For a cheap price, and the scoped rifles also partially ignore cover. So they have a lot of attractive properties.
The enemy have taken our territory.
Taking losses!
Down, you wankers! Back!
Engagements all over the show. Decent connection from that grenade. Only dropped one model, but got them low enough that the Grenadier's probably going to win the fight. CMG needs to push up now on the section now that the engineers have retreated. Andrew is closing in with the Vet 1 sprint there. Makes me think Clappy has gone for the Vet 1 boost. No, just got to Vet 1 naturally. Quite low with these Panzergreens now. Looks like he's going to continue capping with them, but want to get an early retreat so they don't bleed too much manpower. Flare popping off. I think that's one thing we haven't seen that much of from JLODGE so far. He's been underutilizing the flares.
The enemy has our victory
in the double wiki sections. And there we go, very early P-Green retreat. I'm going to conserve his manpower. Did manage to complete the capture on the fuel, so mission accomplished down there. And so far it's been a reasonably even split on the map. I think JLODGE slightly more control. And here he goes, he's pushing out a Centaur. There's the Gone Platoon Command AT gun. So bring in the no-tech call-ins, JLODGE. We have a mine right here from Clappy though. So it looks like this is around the timing. Around 12 minutes is where you need to start worrying about the Centaur. And this is perhaps why JLODGE can afford to invest so much into infantry and not go for any type of light vehicle, because he can just go for this no-tech corner. Centaur, it's not a tremendously good tank though, even after all the buffs. A solid option though if you don't have a good answer to it, which is hard to at this phase. Just the AT gun. I suppose you could have side-ticked into a Stug. Get that out by about now. But, you know, that's having to pay for tech when your opponent didn't need to.
Centaur close support variant
Gives you the disadvantage. And losing territory all over the map at the moment, Clappy. AT gun decently positioned here. Oh, picked it up at just the wrong moment. The good news though is that, you know, without the Indian artillery cost reduction, Panzer Grenadiers should do quite a lot better. Shouldn't feel like you're massively manpower starved, but JLODGE able to pump out 2 Centaurs now. And this is a tremendous amount of pressure. I think we saw strategies similar to this from Alpern in the Master League. It's just a lot of pressure at this timing. Saving on tech makes a huge difference. Gives one player a big advantage. But as I said, I think UncleClappy making some mistakes, not going for the MP40s on any of these Grenadiers. Needing more on mines and grenades. It's made it a bit harder for the Greens up against the sections than it should have been. Up until this point. And even though the MP40's got nerfed, it's still a worthwhile upgrade if you're going for that battle group and you're building a lot of Greens. But here we go, Panzer IV popping out for Clappy. He's managed to hold on, he had just enough fuel control. This could be the turning point. JLODGE only with 1 AT gun at this stage, though 4 sections for potential snares.
We've lost communication with one
Panzer
of our
IV rolling up here. Oh, engineers? No, section dead to the P-Greens on the side. A little bit sloppy there from JLODGE. Looked like an unforced error. Whose mine was that went off there? Before chasing down one of the Centaurs, but the AT gun's rolling around the corner. A bit of a stutter in the Panzer IV's movement, combined up with 2 misses. Gonna have to disengage from this. And a second AT gun in response from JLODGE. JLODGE at the point in time where you can consider either ticking up or
On it.
building a second AT gun and just going for like a third Centaur, trying to close the show right here and now.
Point is in enemy
Getting a
hands.
mine up. Meanwhile, UncleClappy does not have sweepers yet, so these mines could be nasty for the Panzer IV. Branching out to the far edge, already down by over 100 VPs at this stage. Clappy,
Landmines in place.
but not entirely surprising given
Good as new.
build
Anti-tank
order
crews are on
differences.
standby for
But definitely I would be
order. The beggars are threatening a
investing
fuel
in
point.
a sweeper now. In fact, the Pyres are on the far side of the map. He probably should have just driven his Panzer IV across here. Second AT gun popping out from Clappy though in the meantime. Swat just about getting around the corner, got suppressed. Too close for a rifle nade. Maybe this one could have popped it off the Bren. Couple shots from the AT gun forces the Centaur back. Mine goes off here, but drops one model. And that is, you know, a bit of a difference maker in COH3. You know, mines can knock out like one model or three. Probably one of the areas where RNG is at its widest at the moment, given the damage caps
Close support tank is ready to
applied to a
assist
lot
our
of things.
infantry.
And yeah, Clappy should definitely have the sweepers now, just for the repair rate increase as well. So Panzer IV is going to be out for repairs for a long time with just one Pyre repairing. And it looks like JLODGE is doubling down, trying to close the show right here, picking up the third Centaur. Maybe starting to save some munitions. Heading towards the rocket loiter. Centaur splashing some big damage on the P-Greens. Not very good at chasing though with its projectile. Got to do some cheeky attack rounds.
Capture point is being overrun.
Trying to do the capping now. Did manage to cap this fuel point, so Clappy's still doing reasonably well in terms of fuel. Not too far off another Panzer IV. And if you can stall out at this phase, then it's good news.
We've lost the sector to the
So once you
enemy.
get the second Panzer IV out, this is where these strategies start to come off the rails a bit until the planes are available, which is still a long way off in terms of command points. The triple Centaur pressure hasn't been as strong as JLODGE would have hoped, I imagine. He's coming in, looking for a decrew. The Panzer IV is repaired up now. Double AT guns lighting up these Centaurs though. No infantry support for this push from JLODGE. Gonna lose one Centaur here, almost certainly. Second one's fast enough to get away, and double AT guns have pushed up now, keeping it safe. Either way, not a good trade for JLODGE. Centaur down, decreed the AT gun, but just didn't really have enough units there to capitalize on it. Need to be coming in with infantry at the same time. Maybe the third Centaur coming fresh off repairs, coming in from the other side while the AT guns were spun to face this direction. Need to time your attacks more effectively than that, and it looks like Clappy's managed to save up for another MG42 in the meantime. Looks like the section he lost was the one of the recce sections. So not going to be as many flares around to outposition these MG42s. And sounds like JLODGE investing into the team weapon upgrades now. Couple of good shots in there, both directions. But yeah, seems like Clappy is now stabilized. Still no tick up from JLODGE. He's got a lot of resources, could just about go for anything by the time his tick is completed. Instead, he's going to bring in another Centaur. So he had the option of switching off the Centaur spam, which I think I probably would have done after the last push didn't go my way, but he's going to keep going for him.
Good as new.
Commando paradrops.
Second Panzer IV is going to arrive, and that's going to make this way harder. Pegreen's coming across now.
Good as new. Repairs finished.
AT gun, you got orders?
Panzer IV rolling its way out to the far side, looking to open up the VP capture. Clappy did close the gap a little bit, but back down to over 100 behind. Previously was around 140. Going for the fuel capture as well. So still worried about trying to pump out vehicles. Triple Centaur doing a bit of a rotation. Do have a smoke shot which can help against AT guns, try force them in to attack ground action. But you can see the AT guns very spread out for Clappy at the moment. There we go. Grenade in from the sappers, double Centaurs pushing in. Somehow this machine gun, okay, is surviving, but there it goes now, Faust. But this AT gun getting a little bit out of position. Panzer Grenadier is right there on top of it. Might be able to get the decrew. Panzer IV coming up the hill. AT gun setting up here. Centaur actually doing a bit of damage there as well, getting a lucky pin. They've only got about 30 penetration, something like that. Not a very high chance of that happening. Let's go for the steal on the MG42 now. Oof, decrewed immediately by that Panzer IV. Still, the second AT gun down. And down a bit of artillery from the recce sections. And Clappy a little bit slow bringing up this AT gun in support. Centaur's given too much breathing room here. Second AT gun recovered by JLODGE. Centaur's pushing in, so the AT guns. Pack's in some trouble, this one. He's come up the hill, where's it going? Oh boy, AT gun decrewed now, looking kind of grim for Clappy. But there we go, AT gun gets a shot off. I think he's lost vision though, we're not going to get any follow-up shots on. Tries to go for the steal, that was greedy. Probably should have been trying to just kill it off with these double AT guns out the back here. Here we go though. Pack connecting from the bottom. Centaur will survive one more shot. Shoots at this one instead. Oh, there we go. Gets a kill. And the Panzer IV survives. 30 HP left. This AT gun's still up for grabs, but JLODGE not in a position to kill it off now. Doesn't have enough support. The Pegreen's down the side have actually ended up capping all the way across here, so good hold in the end from Clappy. Did he lose his machine gun? Yes, the MG42 did get stolen, but it could have been so much worse than that. If the AT gun got destroyed as well, that would be really hard to come back from.
We're back to full strength.
Recrew. Probably merge into it and then retreat the Grenadiers for reinforcing. Just going to leave the Grenadiers out to go do some capping, run this back to reinforce.
Forces have claimed a sector.
Branching out to the far edge. JLODGE, huge surplus of munitions, so close to the planes now as well. So his next push is going to be far more impactful.
Sector lost. Repeat.
Going to be able to completely deny those Panzer IVs from being in the fight. Going to make it a lot easier to just swarm in and kill off the AT guns. Hit 3 on these P-Greens, by the way. 24 kills already. They've been doing very well. As I said, you know, if you're not up against Indian artillery with the manpower cost reductions and the Gurkhas, it does allow the Panzer Grenadiers to have a lot more success.
Points available for use. Typhoons armed with RP-3 rockets are on standby.
Taking advantage of the elevated position here. Looks like it's not triggering the elevation bonus though, because it looks like the kind of hill's going upwards, whereas on this side high enough to trigger the elevation bonus. Oh boy, Clappy's managed to save up for a Tiger now. How did that happen?
Tank is ready to assist our infantry.
JLODGE pushing out another Centaur, but double AT guns and snares. It's going to be tough to stop a Tiger with that. And the Brits do struggle a bit against the Tiger. They don't, kind of similar to Dak against the Matilda, except it's much worse because the Tiger is a wiping machine. Even stronger side armor as well than the Matilda. But he's got the planes, so that's going to be the best answer. Maybe some mines as well. Clappy close to the VP gap massively during this phase though.
They are hammering us. The enemy
Doesn't quite have enough news for Blitzkrieg. See, Clappy's actually at maximum population now.
The battle is going our way.
The Peregrines saw the Centaurs coming across for him. AT gun here, so is the Panzer IV and Tiger. Panzer IV is focused on the section in the corner though. One Panzer IV left here to guard the far VP. Needs the Ricky section flares to really help with this assault. Doesn't have any indirect fire either, JLODGE. You have the option of going for the pack outs in this commander. I do worry, well, I think in this situation, if you're definitely not going to go for a LMG commando, which given the amount of infantry you had probably was unlikely, maybe you should have just gone for the pack outs down that side of the tech tree to help against the Wehrmacht support weapons. So I think Twin Beaches is maybe a bit of a hard map to use the infantry's pack alley on. Okay, here he goes. Bringing in the planes, bringing in the Centaurs. Forces back the Tiger. AT gun, going to get overwhelmed here fast. Panzer IV coming in from the side, but the AT gun's actually taking a lot of damage here. Panzer IV might be free to come in, join in on the fun here shortly. Smashes both of these, but this AT gun in a good position. Doing a lot of damage. The Panzer IV, one more shot. Oh, gets around the corner. Centaur's trying to disengage now, but again, nothing here for JLODGE to finish off the decrew weapons or steal them with. He's missing that extra bit. He's lost the machine gun that he stole, I think, as well. Side, and it's just mass attack rounding with the Centaurs. They're not the best in this situation, but do eventually get the job done. Panzer IV could be coming around the corner to finish the job on one of these. Okay, the planes have now timed out. A lot of damage though, you can see on Clappy's tanks. Out for repairs for an extremely long time. Steals this machine gun. This one over here is still up for grabs as well, so ends up pretty good for JLODGE this time around. Don't think he lost any Centaurs, right? And he just swarmed in on those AT guns.
17
Planes that bought him that breathing room. He's got enough munitions for another set once they come off cooldown again. Popping up a flare, seeing what's what. Peregrines though, well vetted for Clappy.
We are losing the lead. We hear you.
They can do a lot of the heavy lifting, but they will be running into potentially double machine guns now. Does have more pyros, and they looks like they do have sweepers, both of them.
The enemy have.
Okay, so Clappy bring in the incendiary bombing run. Very long delay on this ability.
The battle falls in our favor.
Quite easy to dodge. I think you almost kind of need to set it up in the player's retreat path if you get the vision to. retreat along it if possible. Here comes the Tiger. This is looking a bit worse for Weir.
Sector overrun. The enemy
He's at full strength. Looks like he's coming out to this side to contest the VP. Down by about 40 VPs, Clappy. So a lot, you know, both players above 250, and we're half an hour into this game at this stage. JLODGE struggling a little bit for repairs himself, only one engineer at the moment. And this section should win this one with the Bren and the vet advantage. Tiger backing across. Centaur there as well. The T-guns here, so is Panzer IV coming in. Double AT guns back here for JLODGE. He did go for that team weapon training. Mine goes off, slows down the P-green flank. Double AT guns, but I think I saw one of them miss, maybe? Maybe not.
Hold firm. The enemy have 250 points left.
Dives in with the Centaur, but it's not where he wants to be. Backing out, and now it's a lot of repairs on these Centaurs. Just one engineer to do the job. JLODGE does have a lot of resources floating at this stage. Could easily build some more though. Come out to the side with the sweeper just in case. Okay, here he goes. He's dropping down the Typhoons. The Centaurs are not really healthy enough to do much about this, though. He doesn't have the opportunity to just swarm in and knock out this AT gun. Oh! The incendiary bombing run, I didn't even notice. It was kind of hidden underneath the blue circles on the mini-map. It looks like maybe JLODGE didn't notice either. He crewed both of his AT guns. Panzer IV, meanwhile, doing massive damage out on the side. Decrews the stolen MG. The Tiger did get to about half health, but it's not too bad. Timeout. Still has enough munitions for another activation, but still JLODGE with a huge amount of resources in reserve. Needs to spend something, get back up to close to 100. Gone naval bombardment as well, back the other side. Very expensive. Do have the assault flares, which I think are a pretty good option often. Especially if you've lost a couple of recce sections, but it's still got two of them actually. So maybe it's fine. There's a 4 coming around the side. Getting close to Vet 3 on that now. Tiger still out back getting repaired. This Panzer IV going for a bit of an excursion. A little bit dangerous given there were a few mines around. Driving around in this area of the map could easily backfire if you hit a mine. Doesn't look like it's going to in this case. Yeah, okay, JLODGE, he did tick. I didn't notice this. Company commander's up and he's gone for the 17-pounder. The incendiary bombing strike though should be pretty decent against the 17-pounder. Double AT guns lining up. Could this be the end of the Panzer IV? Oh, not quite. Nebelwerfer, meanwhile, from Clappy. Targeting these team weapons. Pretty decent damage. The 17-pounder dropped off down here. Doesn't get any shots on the Panzer IV, though. Tiger's healthy again. Rifle nades allows the section to win this fight. And the Tiger's going to stop him from capping. Still, the points are draining from Clappy. He's lost control of this one. And a 161. Big shots from the Tiger. I think I would have considered trying to chase her around here. Maybe got 1 or 2 more shots in. Hope for the wipe. Upgraded the truck for medics. Smoke plane out. Doesn't give any smoke warnings, like flare warnings on the ground. Somewhat nullifying these AT guns at the moment. The 17 pounder getting into a more aggressive position up here. Got a mines coming up from Clappy. Centaur's backing away now. Okay, here he goes. He's pushing in. He's got the planes ready to go. JLODGE looking to get something cooking here. Centaur a little bit slow on the reactions here. Could be going down. And there it goes. Double AT guns connecting, but here comes the Nebelwerfer in return. Dodge backwards. Ooh! Nearly lost the engineers. 17 pounder still standing though. A little bit clumsy from JLODGE with the execution there.
Orders. Jump to it, lads.
Got the med truck over here reinforcing this section.
Used,
well, I suppose they are a section, but the sappers or the engineer section. Open up a flare with the section now.
The beggars are threatening a victory point. Infantry taking. We have munitions ready to be used, Commander. Artillery barrage.
Okay, he's bringing in the naval bombardment. Looks like it's a little bit shallow though, not quite on the AT gun out the back. Powerful artillery strike this one, but targeting wasn't ideal. Knocks out the Nebelwerfer though. He can try and come in from the side, but MG42 is going to shut them down. He's going to go for the steal on the Nebelwerfer while this is going on. Naval bombardment distraction. And he does have the mid truck. Nope. Forget about that. Tiger. Get a decoy on that. Nice and fast. Kill it off now before it gets recrewed. Unsuccessful, but should be able to get it now. Nice rifle nade there. Bit of base howitzer fire coming in, buying some room to go for a cap. Here comes the Panzer IV though. Gets off to the side of the 17 pounder. The 6.6 pounder is looking to rotate to assist. 17 pounder doesn't have the widest arc of fire. The Tiger's coming in now as well. Daring stuff here from Clappy. Doesn't have munitions for blitzkrieg. That could be really nice during an attack like this. It's the decrew on the 17 pounder. Got a couple shots on the Tiger. Tiger's a little bit low. The T-gun's kind of splitting. Coming in from multiple sides. Recrew on the 17 pounder with the med truck. This one goes down though. 17 pounder. Oh, doesn't get another shot on the Tiger. I don't think it's enough damage to kill anyway. I think it does 240, I think. Might be wrong. Meanwhile, here comes the Axis infantry from the other side. Where are these Centaurs? A little bit out of range. AT-gun's in some trouble. Mid-truck desperately trying to reinforce, but your reinforce rate's slower when you're in combat and away from the base sector. Not as strong as it used to be in this scenario. Looks like the recrew came off cooldown though, able to get that recovered. And held on to all of these at this stage. Here come the Centaurs now, but Panzer IV and Pack have now pushed up. A little bit late coming back in with these Centaurs. Big bundle nade coming in. Trying to get away with the Centaurs. Pop smoke with one of them. Panzer IV chasing down Vet 3 on the Panzer IV now. Desperate hold here from JLODGE, but you can see he's bleeding out, costing himself a tremendous amount of manpower doing all of this. And it's a fresh Panzer IV on the field now for Clappy.
They're losing a capture point. to enemy action.
Sappers back to
Centaurs desperately need repairs. These
Commander,
tanks are
we
so
have
low.
artillery on standby.
Looks like Clappy's content with what he achieved there. He knocked out a Centaur, right? Constant decrease, huge population gap now.
Enemy points at 300. Confirm.
rifle rounds.
He's jumping back on the 17 pounder. A lot of reinforcing to do still. A lot of repairs to do as well. The points are draining from JLODGE at this stage. There are mines there, though they're very hard to see.
Infantry's closing on us.
I don't even know where that mine is that I'm selecting. I saw it getting planted earlier, but so hard to see.
The enemy is pushing hard. We're
that
down to
it there? No.
250 points.
The way the craters look in this game, it's hard to distinguish sometimes. So far the Tiger hasn't really been a wipe machine. Feels like he hasn't had the opportunity to let it off its leash though, really. Been zoned out by the planes a bit.
Time to work for a living. Shifting the business end.
17 pounder repositioned over to this side. I think maybe that might be a good strategy for JLODGE. Just try and play on this side of the map, since it's a bit hard to tow the 17 pounder from side to side in these 1v1 scenarios.
New chaps in place.
Just try and hold these two VPs. Mine up all around the side here so his flanks are
Losing a
secure.
munitions point.
Focus on the more straight ahead, since Clappy does not have the Nebelwerfer anymore.
The enemy has only 250 points left.
Maybe occasionally send a squad over to this side to harass the VP.
Time to set it up.
He's coming in now.
A victory point is being overrun.
Oh boy, why did the Centaur stop right there? With the incendiary bombing coming down on the AAT guns, I don't know why the Centaur stopped right there. If he just kept driving, would have been home free. Units coming in from the side with the sprint. Looking to get around the side of these 6 pounders.
We're losing a munitions point to enemy action.
Could be quite successful in that as well. Tiger trying to soften up this section, and they've lost their heavy cover now. 17 pounder a little bit out of range, but it looks like it killed off a Panzer IV that tried to come in from the side here before I even noticed
Still
it.
have 250 points left.
Is that right?
We must persevere.
Maybe not. Still has both of his
Bosch are pushing hard. They're down to
Panzer IVs.
250 points.
But yeah, the 17 pounder does zone out the Tiger. Meanwhile, can't really contest the side as long as it's camped by a Panzer. You'd have to send his AT guns across there, which is... it's tough. Down to just one Centaur at this stage now as well, JLODGE. He's bringing in the planes though, looking to zone out this Tiger. Gotta be careful, these planes can do nasty damage to whatever infantry's nearby as well. Setting up. P4 gets around the corner. Tiger still out the back, still could come in for more attack passes. He hasn't dodged away far enough. Oh, that was sloppy from Clappy. Yeah, shouldn't have been losing that. Just needed to keep driving. I think he was fine there. So that's going to allow JLODGE to jump back on the points. 101 left for Clappy. Going to lose a few points here. JLODGE still with quite a lot of munitions in reserve as well. By the time this comes off cooldown, he'll be able to use it again. Meanwhile, Clappy's used this opportunity to invest in a Nebelwerfer after losing the Tiger. He doesn't really need the Tiger that much. 2 Panzer IVs should be enough to hold off the Centaurs for sure. Of course, JLODGE could switch over to like a Grant or something else. He has not teched Grants. The Panzer IV, at least this one with such a huge vet advantage, would make mincemeat of a Grant anyway. Does not have the armoured vehicle training either at this stage, JLODGE.
Cover his position.
Going from Matilda, is that what I saw there? Yes.
We're losing a victory point.
Bit two on the pack though.
Covering this arc.
Didn't get much done with that Nebelwerfer. Looks like the 17 pounder is going to reposition now, so it's not easy pickings.
Victory point lost. The enemy has control.
Bit of a sneeze there.
We're carrying it from here. A Matilda
Pushed
heavy
forwards with the
tank
17
has been
pounder a
released.
little bit further. I do worry that parking this close to this barrier will make it hard to pick this back up. Comes to tow this again.
The enemy isn't pushing us back.
We're enticing Clappy to push in with his tank here. Here comes the Nebelwerfer. A little bit of damage actually. Oh, there we go. Some weird scatter on these rockets. I think they're doing a really weird arc because they have to fire over those trees. Landing in an erratic fashion. But it actually did quite a lot of damage across the board. With the announcer, Typhoon's ready. Taking a couple of shots there.
New chaps in place.
Getting the penetration bonuses, doesn't it? The Vet 3. Just about there now. Oof. Hit from the P4, but a big shot in return from the 17 pounder. Meanwhile, coming down here to harass. I didn't actually notice this, but a muni cache down here from JLODGE.
Infantry support available for
Getting cleared off. These caches do seem to have less armor than they had in Code 2, so they do die faster to small arms. Second Matilda now from JLODGE. Getting close to his population cap now.
A munitions point is being overrun.
Clappy meanwhile.
The enemy faltered.
Trying to stall for another
Down to
Tiger.
100 points.
Can bring it in now.
We're down to 200 points.
Oh, there it goes. MG down. Matilda coming off to the side, but the Panzer IV's there. It's high vet as well. No skirts on the Panzer IV. Might give the Matilda a bit better chance to pin Faust, but no permanent engine crit. The Panzer IV is going to chase in here though. If the P4 can get onto the rear armor, that would have been really good, but he's bringing down the planes over here. Matilda continuously failing to penetrate. Planes coming in from the side direction as well, so they really need to be coming this way to help connect. Greedy's coming through, maybe for another Faust once it comes off cooldown. Slow down that Matilda. Tiger on the field for Clappy.
We've just lost an anti-tank gun.
Follow this well outside of the circle once he lost vision. Do you have the machine? Oh, he's got the machine gun on it. Yep.
We're losing a victory point to enemy action.
Dug in around here, but hurting for repairs. Doesn't have a single sapper at this stage. Or getting a bit lucky there. Didn't take more damage. And there we go. Motor times out. Pushing forwards a little bit with the truck and the 17 pounder, hoping to catch something out of position, and the Tiger spots the Matilda. Should kill it with the next shot. But he's taking a battering from all these support weapons. Gets around the side of the 17 pounder. One shot from death. We've got the Nebelwerfer coming down, but the scatter is not the best. Looks like he targeted it a little bit too deep. There's a 4 coming in now. Oh, this could be a huge incendiary bombing. The mid truck did die, so he can't really dodge with the 17 pounder. flames should decrew it in the end. Panzer IV's swarming in. Looks like this Panzer IV wants to come down the hill as well. Not quite enough. Oh, there he goes. Second snare. That was an engine crit finally. One Panzer IV down. Oh, these AT guns are still just hanging in there. Same story with the Matilda. Armor holding up. The AT guns just a little bit too far back from Clappy during this fight. Oh, but the Panzer IV bounces the kill shot. 17 pounder recruit. Kills off the high vet Panzer IV.
A victory point is being overrun.
It was looking so promising for Clappy for a stage there, but I think maybe the Nebelwerfer slightly off the mark. And this AT gun wasn't brought in to help early enough. Otherwise, I think he could have turned that around there. Nebelwerfer gets the decrew again. I suppose there are still some team weapons here up for grabs. Oh, machine gun chose to shoot at the pyros instead, probably because they were closer. So he has to retreat. He's not going to be able to shut down these Panzergreens. Still a lot of repairs required for JLODGE. 29 points left for Clappy, but he might be able to steal some of these support weapons. He's got to jump on the 17 pounder. I'm not so sure about that choice, since it's immobile. Left the AT gun behind during this action as well. Centaur comes back and gets the decrew immediately. AT gun still not pushing up, but the Panzer IV is. Where's the AT gun? It's way out to the side here. One more shot, that Centaur's dead. Jumps back on this. There goes the Centaur. Panzergreens trying to stay on top. No permanent engine crit. He gets lucky. Gets a kill shot on the Matilda as well. The AT gun coming in from the side. He's one shot on, then lost range. And JLODGE down to 20 pop cap after losing both of his tanks there. Lost his hopes of recrewing the AT guns as well. Maybe got a little bit greedy. JLODGE. Yeah, Clappy up to 65 to 24. Huge differential. Two Grenadiers out here, maybe a bit more than is necessary. Oof, just before he got the neutralize off. Kill off the 17 pounder. Understandable. What could Clappy even do to
report, the Allies have only 200 points.
Oh, I suppose he could build a 251, right?
We have 200
Which
points remaining.
honestly might not be too horrible just for map presence and holding on to the VPs. Bit of forward reinforce and healing. That's fair enough. Kills off the 6 pounder as well. I think I probably would have held on to that.
The enemy has 200 points and falling.
Personally.
We're down to 200 points.
Okay, fresh Matilda for JLODGE coming out to the side.
A fuel point is being overrun.
No tank over here for Clappy, so should be able to get forced off. And only 29 points remain. Don't need to be fast about this one. Just getting some mines out. He needs to push down onto this VP. Don't know if he heard that flare going off, but it should be a bit of a warning signal that something's cooking on the other side.
Sector lost. Repeat. Sector lost.
Two having a lot of trouble. Decides to drive in closer, and there we go, gets off. Tremendous shot there. Didn't manage to stick around for a double Faust though, could have been an engine crit. Oh! Right at max range, unfortunate. It's making tracks to get on this VP now. Should be a pretty even trade. I think the sections do have a capture rate bonus and the P-Greens do not though. A few points should drain from Clappy. We've got 3. 3 point counts though when you've only got 29 left. Late dodge, has to retreat that because of it.
now.
No, not even. Thought he'd lose a couple points.
What a beauty! Flags raised!
But it wasn't the case. Got on the decap fast enough.
6-pounder anti-tank gun ready.
Okay, we've got the Tiger on the field.
The Matilda heavy tank has been completed.
Second Matilda now for JLODGE.
Ziggy's air! It's captured! We've 100 points left. What's the small odds? Jake, don't stop loading!
Tiger's out on this side, clearing it off. Grandy's coming down that direction. We've actually got a great shot. Decrewed this AT gun. Panzer IV is already quite low. Double Matildas could easily overwhelm. Okay, maybe this time we'll lose a couple points.
We're losing a victory point to enemy action.
No, it's not going to happen. It's fast enough, I think.
Victory point under enemy control.
No, didn't even lose one. Oh, that was close. It's one of the mines. Oh, there goes another one. I didn't see that one there. Matilda out here a little bit stranded, but the AT gun's not going to do anything about that. Maybe the Tiger, though, coming down the hill. This AT gun, where is it? He's sent it back to base to heal and reinforce. Uh-oh. This Matilda, though, gets the engine crit auto repair once it's out of combat for long enough, so it's able to skate its way out to safety here. There's the option of popping the smoke as well.
6-pounder deploying. We'll cover here.
I feel that ability is quite cheesy. Makes it harder, again, to deal with the Matildas if you can't get there in time to capitalize on your mine. Do you remember what veterancy you got that at for Churchill's in COH3? The Vet 3? Raising the AT gun. Oh boy, hits another mine, and this time that's going to go down if he doesn't drop the planes here. They are ready to go though. And here they come. Tiger just needs one more shot. He's going to try to stick around for it. The building's actually shielding a bit of that damage. Tiger with the fadeaway gets the kill. He's sprinting in over here. Tiger's making its way out. Just about dead. Will he take one more pass or will he be safe? That's the most important question right now.
One last stand, gentlemen. We've only 50 points left. Here we go.
Oh, he takes one more pass. So stupid, dude. So stupid. Can't believe they didn't fix that in the last patch. Understandably upset there, Clappy. I thought he was home free, but maybe he needed to be a little bit further back from the circles still. I think you just have to like keep driving basically with your tank until these have timed out. Until then, it feels like you can just never be safe against those loiters. Couple mines going off. Nebelwerfer though, well targeted here. 34 points left for JLODGE. Is getting a bit desperate trying to push down the side. He doesn't have the firepower to win over here without a tank, but his Matilda's out getting repaired. See what Clappy's up to. I think Clappy needs to push out another tank. Instead, he's maybe trying to stall for another Tiger, but there's still 2 minutes left on the cooldown. The game will be over before that. I think he needs to push out a Panzer IV immediately.
They cannot withstand us. They are down to only 25 points.
Pretty sure that's just another Matilda we see in production for JLODGE. So yeah, I don't know what Clappy's up to, but he needs to be spending that resource on a Panzer IV, in my opinion. Cannot stall for another Tiger. Way too far in the future.
Enemy troopers, getting keen!
Squad eventually closes in, and the Panzer Grenadiers looking to take advantage. I wonder if they've still got their sprint available.
Commander, territory is being
T-gun though, Vet 3. It's hard to handle. JLODGE doesn't quite have enough for another set of planes or naval bombardment, so it's making it a bit harder for him. He's got 10 points, he's coming in. He's feeling desperate. Flares providing vision of the Panzer IV, which has to back away. Machine gun though, looking to keep the pressure on this section, deny the capping attempt. 4 points left. Engineers stay in there for as long as they possibly can. And there we go.
signal the retreat.
Clappy ends up taking it. Yeah, I mean, he should have definitely built another Panzer IV at the end there to help with the final push. JLODGE maybe missed timing it slightly, need to get in there about 5 seconds earlier, but GG. Yeah, tough one. I think Clappy should have been leaning a bit more on the MP40s in the early game, would have made it easier against the sections with the Recce package and the Vet 1 boost from the training center. That could have helped out quite a lot with the early territory control, but still got the Panzer IV out at a pretty good timing, all things considered. And, you know, during the call-in phase, I think JLODGE making a bit of a meal of his first push with the Centaurs. Better coordination, I think he could have done a lot more damage and won the game on the spot there with the triple Centaurs, but the first attack didn't go too well. But then the follow-up attacks, combining up with the planes, very hard to deal with, as you saw. You just get zoned out by the planes with your tanks. Centaurs come in and mop up your team weapons. Difficult strategy to counter. Did see a few mines from Clappy, which, you know, had some reasonable success. But yeah, late game seemed like Clappy would maybe slightly superior control. JLODGE kind of ran out of munis as well for the planes. Ended up losing, maybe struggling as well. JLODGE for repairs with just one sapper. Too much time out getting repaired up. One of the Matildas weren't active enough. Maybe should have gone for another squad of engineers. Oh well, GG. Well, anyway, guys, wrap on that. If you like your game to be cast by me, details are in the video description below. Otherwise, I'll catch you all for the next thrilling installment. Goodbye and good luck.